Look at that, sports fans. So we just did a video about different ways to make straight cuts without a track saw. And you thought I was dissing on track saws. I'm not dissing on track saws, I just don't happen to have one. But there were a couple of things we left out. There have been a couple of things that came in the comments that I've learned from. And you see these two pieces of plywood. There's a 3/8 piece and a 1/2 inch piece. From the comments, I'm going to turn those two pieces into a poor man's track saw that not only will keep you straight, but you don't have to measure to find the mark. It will show you exactly where to cut and keep you straight. Besides that, we've got a hack right there that I learned from the comments. And then one other process that's going to make you flinch when you see it. Let's go with the poor man's track saw.
First order of business is to break down the full sheets. Now when I'm working alone and it's got to be precise, I usually rip it twice. Once off of the full sheet, which is a little floppy and a little hard to see and control maybe, and then a second more precise rip off of the smaller, lighter piece that I just liberated.
2 inches on that side. So we're going to cut one, we're going to make a 3.5 inch rip. I'm going to make a 4 inch rip and then cut it down.
Two things. First, I just love this saw stop table saw. And I'm going to love it even more when my workbench is done. It's temporaried in right now, and I have the bottom side of the top facing up.
I'm going to come down to about 2.5. Yeah. I've got a sore finger on that right hand. Got a burn on it. Man, that just cramps my stuff. All right, I'm gonna throw this end down. All right. Working right to left.
The thing to remember with this cutting jig is that it is specific to the saw that you used to make it. In this case, my trusty Mag 77. Now clearly, this little jig is handy for straight, parallel rips, which is what we usually think of. But it really shines because it will also instantly set up on an angle cut like this one.
So there's lots of people that make tracks, right? And they make guides and they make sleds and they make all sorts of things, and they're great. But I'm not going to pay $90 for this. In fact, I'm taking this Bora back because I think this is in many ways better for what I'm doing and what I do. And one of the big things that jumps out at me is that with this, I have to add whatever the dimension is from the edge of my saw to the blade or to the other side of the blade, depending on which I'm using, whether it's in the 3.5 range or the 1.5 range. It builds in the possibility of a mistake. But if you didn't already pick up on it, this little Stone Age hack eliminates that mistake because the edge of the plywood is in fact the cut. And you can make this out of $6 worth of scrap plywood if you happen to have some decent material. Now let me show you another little thing that is an adaptation of an existing tool that we already showed you once, but I think now is about 100% better.
As soon as I read in the comments the brilliant suggestion to screw a piece of nice material to the factory T-fence in order to make it more user-friendly and reliable, it was another aha moment for me. So will you do me a favor and keep these suggestions coming? Because historically, I've never even tried to keep these things handy. But I intend to keep this one from now on.
So that homemade track and this little thing are examples of the good information that's in the comments on these videos. You guys bring a lot more to the table than I do. And I read this and I thought, of course, just extend that fence so it's long enough to sort of guarantee something close to nice, smooth, even 90-degree path of the saw. So I just took a piece of Baltic birch, I put it on there, screwed it through the back like you watched me do. Now we slide it into the holder, and I'm just going to take it in and get about that much, I think. Wow, that really improves it. I don't know which one of you fellas sent that idea in, but that is really nice. And the tip about easing the front and back, oh, what a win that is. All right, here's the one that'll make you blink your eyes. So the trick here is you're pinching the saw and letting your finger rub along the work. And everybody says, get your finger away from the blade. Well, answer me this. How am I going to get my finger into that blade unless I drop my hand back there? I mean, if the saw kicks back, it goes away from my finger. Now, this is not something that you do just because, but it's legit, like this. I let the fingernail rub on the board, so if I pick up a sliver, I can't pick up a sliver on a fingernail. I pinch down, I concentrate on this hold, I pull the trigger. One inch, one inch, one inch, one inch. And before you overreact, and I don't blame you if you are, just recognize that you have a hold of it. You have a hold of it. You feed slow. The only way you're going to get in trouble is if you get a sliver and you make some sort of a dumb jerk. But even if you do, how are you going to jerk your hand down there? And remember, you set the depth. Oh, look, there is a bit of a sliver. And I didn't jerk. So, yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. Do not try this at home. But all three of these, I mean, this little gizmo now is probably worth not losing because of this. Thank you for that. I think maybe it was Sid Vicious. Sid, I appreciate your steady support and your good comments. Was it you that pointed this out to me? You said you saw it on This Old House or Yankee Workshop or something. This is a win. I'm going to sand it. I'm going to either varnish it or paint it. I'm going to keep track of it because sometimes you just have to break down a sheet. And even though a Tracksaw is beautiful, I used David Quarterman's about a year and a half ago up in his shop. It's just such a Cadillac tool. Festool, I mean, if you're going to buy one, you might have in for a penny, in for a pound. It was glorious and no mistake. But not everybody needs one. Not everybody can afford one. But everybody can afford to build that. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman and keep up the good work.